This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Click the link in the description below. Hello friends, welcome to Engineering Today, and we're back with some interesting updates for you. In today's update, we'll first talk about SpaceX's Heat Shield Mini Bakery at Boca Chica. Our second update will follow on SpaceX's rapid progress towards orbital launch. In the third update, we'll talk about SpaceX's violation of launch license during SN8 launch. And lastly, we'll talk about NASA's SLS core stage mating with its twin booster. Last week, SpaceX received multiple deliveries at its Boca Chica Starship factory. It was a routine delivery from SpaceX that arrives every month. The packages, labeled as Heat Shield and Mini Bakery, most likely contain a new batch of the ceramic Starship heat shield tiles, which SpaceX currently manufactures in Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral, Florida. A local photographer, Starship Gazer, captured all the images. SpaceX got a special delivery while I was there today. Looks like pallets of equipment to build a mini bakery at Starbase. The bakery is what they call the heat shield manufacturing facility in Cape Canaveral, Florida. Now they can make heat shield tiles at Starbase also, Starship Gazer posted on Twitter. The page also posted a Google satellite image which has the bakery marked on it. The heat shield tiles protect the spacecraft during re-entry. These black tiles can reflect 90% of the heat during re-entry, while the tile's interior absorbs the rest. SpaceX has been developing Starship hexagonal heat shield technology for more than 2 years at their Florida-based facility, also known as the bakery. However, the delivery of a mini bakery at Boca Chica indicates that SpaceX will now develop the Starship heat shield tiles at Starbase. The word mini implies that it will have a lower production rate than the Florida-based facility. Julia Bergeron, co-founder of Space Coast Launch Ambassadors, stated, "It appears a new stack has been added to the Starship heat shield processing area at Sidco Road. Activity continues today on Octograbber 3, which is expected to be on board a shortfall of Gravitas, currently located in Forchon, being readied for operations." According to SpaceX, ceramic heat shield tiles will be installed directly into the Starship's steel body. After that, it could endure temperatures up to 800 degrees Celsius, which is 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. Stay tuned for more updates regarding Starship. Let's take a look on our next update on SpaceX's rapid progress towards orbital launch. Before we move to your next segment, do you guys remember NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory getting hacked a few years back? Why are we asking? Because it doesn't matter who you are or where you are. If you're online, you're vulnerable to hacking. And here comes our sponsor, Surfshark VPN service, as a security solution. Surfshark is a tool which hides your IP address and present location by encrypting your internet traffic. It ensures all your passwords, documents, or sensitive data sent or accessed online from your personal devices are completely safe. Another big advantage is you can choose any country as your current location and access a series of OTT content which may not be available at your location right now. Just select the country where it's available from your dropdown and you can easily unblock it. Surfshark is highly rated, user-friendly, and loaded with security features. It's the only VPN service provider which allows you to connect unlimited number of devices with a single subscription. Isn't it amazing? So get Surfshark right now as it's available at 83% off, along with a 3 months free offer. Please click the link in the description below and feel free to apply the promo code ENGINEERING to avail the golden opportunity. 3 months ago, Elon Musk confirmed that SpaceX is aiming to attempt the first orbital launch of Starship by July 2021. Following that statement, some regulatory documents regarding the launch schedule of the orbital Starship were revealed a couple of months later. Starship and Super Heavy's first orbital launch will make Starship travel for nearly 80 minutes in space, then re-enter and splash down near the Hawaiian coast. This was all known. SpaceX has made great leaps to carry out their mission on time. We've talked about the launch tower, propellant tanks that SpaceX is preparing, but recently, on a recorded address from Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX president and COO, to a graduating class of college seniors, SpaceX's progress on building the Raptor engines for Super Heavy and Starship got revealed further. Musk had earlier revealed that SpaceX had increased Super Heavy's engine count from 28 to 29. It also became known that SpaceX will install all 29 Raptor engines on the booster, even for the first few flights. Adding Starship's 3 sea-level and 3 vacuum-optimized Raptors with that of a booster comes to 35 Raptor engines. SpaceX had to expand Raptor production on a larger scale in order to meet the demand of engines for multiple launches. During Shotwell's pre-recorded address, a screen on the factory floor was seen for a short time. The screen showed the tracking progress of SpaceX towards Starship's first orbital launch. In the screen, a basic graphic image of the lower bottom of Starship upper stage and Super Heavy booster were shown, along with the way in which the engines would be fitted inside. In the display screen, some circles represent the Raptor engines. It's worth noting that 11 of those circles were marked green among the 35 circles. This in turn proves that SpaceX has already shipped at least 11 of the almost 3 dozen Raptor engines needed for the combined rocket's first launch attempt. SpaceX's goal is to manufacture nearly hundreds of Raptor engines per year to install it in numerous Starships and Super Heavy boosters. A most interesting part in the same pre-recorded address, in the same display screen, is the presence of a 25-day countdown. The countdown proves something big is going to happen within the next 3 to 4 weeks. According to a report, it's quite probable that the countdown shows the time by which the final Raptor engine is being shipped. If SpaceX could deliver all the Raptors by the first week of July, then sparing some weeks for Raptor testing, SpaceX could easily move on for orbital test flight. Let's move to our next update. Before SN8 launch, SpaceX ignored last-minute warnings from the Federal Aviation Administration. Just before SN8's test launch in December, SpaceX ignored the warnings given by the Federal Aviation Administration. The warning stated that SN8's launch in late 2020 would violate SpaceX's launch license. Some papers regarding this situation got released. While SpaceX was under investigation, they stated to the Federal Aviation Administration that the agency's software was a source of frustration that's been shown to be inaccurate at times or overly conservative. Launch violations are rare in the industry, even as private contractors have taken over work that once was the U.S. government's alone. SpaceX occupies a leading position as it's now NASA's only low-cost, reliable launch provider to the International Space Station and the Moon. Those papers exclusively point out how SpaceX prioritized their launch speed over safety when flying their steel rockets in Boca Chica. The regulatory agency didn't sanction SpaceX for launch, and in less than 60 days, SpaceX resumed their Starship flights. In January 2021, the Federal Aviation Administration confirmed the launch violation of SpaceX. Wayne Monteith, the Space Division chief of the regulatory agency, said in a letter to Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX's violation of their launch license was inconsistent with a strong safety culture. Monteith also said, the report states that all SpaceX parties believed that such risk was sufficiently low to comply with regulatory criteria. SpaceX used analytical methods that appeared to be hastily developed to meet a launch window. A confidential 5-page report was also sent by SpaceX. Simultaneously, letters continue to be written in between Shotwell and Monteith. On the 9th of December, several meetings between company employees and Federal Aviation Administration officials who repeatedly rejected SpaceX's weather and launch modeling data that purported to show SN8 was safe to fly. But Musk himself played in the decision to launch SN8. Let's move to today's last update. On June 13th, NASA's Exploration Ground System and Prime Launch Processing Contractor, Jacobs, mated the SLS core stage for Artemis 1 with its boosters. There's no doubt that the Space Launch System is the most powerful rocket that NASA's ever built. Aiming to send humans back to the Moon, this SLS will help in executing that project later this year. On Saturday, NASA's Exploration Ground Systems program tweeted, "Teams are continuing to work to secure the core stage to the solid rocket boosters for Artemis 1. They also provided a photo of the SLS with people standing on the platform to provide the idea of the huge size of the rocket. Combining the Space Launch System's elements is considered to be a milestone toward the Artemis 1 launch campaign. Now, after fixing the core stage with the boosters, the Exploration Ground Systems and Jacob can continue the rest of the work. It's time to engage the launch system with the ground systems so that additional tests and checkouts can be executed. Also, stacking the rest of the vehicle will be continued." The complete stacking operation for the launcher is taking place inside the Vehicle Assembly Building, which is known to be one of the largest buildings in the world. The big center part of SLS, which is 65 meters tall and weighs up to 85,275 kilograms, contains the main propulsion system. Thus, even just lifting it up and placing it back on top of the launcher platform is a great start. On Friday, NASA posted a time-lapse video which showed the lifting process of the core stage into a vertical position. Workers at NASA Kennedy attached the NASA SLS core stage to its twin solid rocket boosters. This massive rocket will propel our NASA Orion spacecraft on the Artemis 1 mission around the Moon. The core stage and boosters are now on the launcher platform, which is a large support structure that can be gradually moved out to the launcher pad when it's ready for the takeoff. During takeoff, the boosters will pick the core stage up using the intertank thrust beam, which in turn will help raise the entire vehicle into the sky. After the boosters completely exhaust, they'll get disconnected from the core stage with the help of separation bolts. Then the booster separation motors will push them further away. If everything goes according to plan, then SLS will conduct a stunning launch later this year. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your valuable feedback in the comment section. This will help us to improve.